Welcome back to the Teacher's AI Cafe. I'm Kane, a teacher and a parent who wants AI to give us back our time. I share practical classroom-tested AI strategies to cut down your workload, improve your feedback and reduce stress so you can get your evenings back and be more present with your friends and family. No jargon, just actionable steps. Grab your mug. Now let's get going. Welcome back to the Teacher's AI Cafe update for educators on the 22nd of June. Now, this is me speaking. I'm actually going to release another version. I was playing with an AI version of me. I didn't really like it, but I'm going to put it up. I'll put AI brackets in there. So I thought, if I'm doing short recordings, maybe I get AI to do it, because as a full-time teacher, we're really busy. Anyway, I don't think you're going to like it, but do have a listen to it anyway. So, what's happened this week in AI that educators should be interested about? So, as always, we're not talking about a lot of tools anymore. I guess we're seeing things like government, school systems, teachers, tech companies trying to answer the same sort of difficult questions. How do we use AI in education without letting it replace the very thinking that education is meant to develop? And this is very topical at the moment. Lots of media coverage. So let's see what's being said around the world. So the first place we're going to actually start is in Norway. Reuters has reported that Norway is moving towards a near total ban on GenAI for elementary school students. The basic argument is developmental. Younger students, especially those aged from 6 to 10, are still building financial skills in reading and writing, maths and so on. Norway is concerned that AI may allow children to skip the hard thinking before they develop the mental muscles to do so independently. I think this is a key point. It's a very valid point. I don't see the need for AI of student use in an elementary or what we call primary school system here in Australia. This isn't a panic about teaching. This is more about understanding cognitive development. And a few of my articles I've talked about lately have addressed that. Because for younger students, and all students in general really, the struggle matters. And the messy first draft, getting stuck on sentence matters, counting, estimating, sounding out, remembering, trying to, again, all that matters. If AI stops this too early, may produce the answer. The students are missing that type of learning. I was talking, I've got some students that are really struggling in my class, and we'll say, look, what are we going to focus on for the coming term to improve their results? And one of the answers I got was, how do I remember things? Because they get to test and they just can't remember. How do we go through that process and teach them? And these are well-established teenagers now, and obviously never learnt that process going through primary school. Anyway, so this is why I think teachers need to be careful. AI is powerful, but age matters. Year 3 students, it's not appropriate to use AI. Year 11 using AI to critique their own draft, yes, it's got a use for it in there. One case, the tool may replace the thinking. The other one, it's sharpening or building on what the student already knows. That's why a human-centered approach matters. The question should not be, is it AI good or bad? The simple question is, what thinking do we need the students to practice? How does AI develop or weaken that? Second story comes from Victoria in Australia, where the government's restricting technology use in high school classrooms to 2 hours a day. I wonder how they debate that. Who gets the actual 2 hours of technology? Considering, do I do it in my subject? So as people who know high schools, at least here in Australia, the students do 5 different classes a day. And I always say in my class, I want to use tech that day. Does that mean only one other of the 4 teachers is allowed to do any tech whatsoever? It should be interesting. I don't know how they'll do it, but I'm sure there'll be a follow-up report. Anyway, the phrase is called eyes up, screens down. It captures obviously the exact anxiety that's going around education. It's not really about AI. It's more about the wider discussion around screens, distractions, students' attention spans, and the classroom environment. Again, in Victoria said that the planned device-free learning time in secondary schools from Term 1 2027, so next year. The argument that students are spending too much time looking at screens, that constant device use may be harming attention, calming and learning. Supporters argue that students need more direct instruction, discussion, handwriting, reading, face-to-face interaction. No one can argue with that. Critics will reasonably ask how this works in classroom already built around laptops, online platforms, digital textbooks, and assessment systems. This story matters because AI does not arrive in a vacuum. It is arriving on the devices that the students actually already have. It sits beside the games, the browsers, messages, and other digital temptation. From a teacher's point of view, it's not a really simple technology policy. It's more of a pedagogy question. So when should a device get opened? When should it be closed? How do you actually use it? My view that AI isn't something you get used, simply it's available. It has a specific goal and purpose actually behind that. And you really need the teacher's domain expertise is the filter that designs the activity of what they actually want to achieve. Screens does not mean technology has no place. It means, I guess, they're trying to argue attention has its value. Third story comes from the US, where Education Week reported that a Senate hearing is calling for AI that protects human judgment in schools. This phrase is important. The issue is not whether AI can generate lesson ideas, mark, summarise readings, and so on. It can do all those things. It's been truly proven over the last few years. The issue remains who's responsible for the judgment. In education, judgment is everywhere. And while we try to be very analytical, it's still got a judgment based on circumstances within it. Teacher judges whether a student understands it or is merely repeating. Teacher can judge whether an answer is historically valid, scientifically sound, mathematically reasoned, or ethically considered. A teacher judges when to push a student and when to support them. A teacher notices a quiet student, the confused, the student who has copied something, and the student who has made a genuine breakthrough. AI can assist in this process, but it still falls back on the classroom teacher. The Senate discussion points towards more guardrails, teacher training, which I think is important, product review, and clearer governance. And there's a practical middle ground. It's not blind adoption. There's no blanket rejection. Instead, the school system needs to ask questions before tools enter classrooms. Has it been tested? What data does it collect? Is it age appropriate? Does it actually support the curriculum, what we're trying to do? Or I guess, is it quietly replacing the professional judgment? Actually, we don't want that. Another article is from also Education Week, reported that teachers say the lack of AI guidance is a major problem. Many teachers are feeling AI is already in schools, students are using it, teachers are experimenting with it, some school leaders are encouraging it, others are nervous about it. But in many places, the actual guidance is vague, inconsistent, and missing altogether. Creates a difficult situation. One teacher might ban it completely, others use it for brainstorming, others might use it for feedback. There's no consistency there. And we really don't have a model which is suitable to implement in the classroom. So teachers need clear guidance, and not guidance written by people who've never taught a lesson. Policy needs to be practical and actually realistic, what happens in the classroom. It needs to explain what's allowed, what's not allowed, what's acknowledged, what must be acknowledging in terms of referencing, how teachers should respond to suspected misuse, and how AI can be used ethically to reduce workload. And this is, for me, where this is a human-centered approach that becomes essential. AI policy does not begin with a tool, it begins with the actual learning in mind. So let's move on to what has actually happened in AI tools in the last week. The first major update is what Microsoft 365 Copilot as of June 26. Microsoft has added Anthropic's Claude model option inside Copilot Chat. It's an important shift. Copilot is becoming more model diverse instead of relying on one model family. Microsoft is allowing users to draw on Claude, such as tasks such as complex analysis, longer document understanding, and structured content generation. So this also will lead to improvements where there's chat history, Edge Copilot interface, PowerPoint capabilities, as well as workplace connectors. For teachers, Copilot is becoming less of a single chatbot, more like an AI-layered access. And I do say that obviously Copilot was originally based on OpenAI. By opening up to more of them, there's a lot of different platforms like that. Are we getting the best of all worlds? I guess we'll find out. What's happened in Gemini as of the 18th of June, Google Classroom's app inside Gemini for workspaces. So they've added Google Classroom app inside Gemini. This makes it easier to connect AI more directly to teaching workflows. Gemini has gained some admin controls for temporary chats, conversation deletion. Gemini and Chrome expanded more languages and regions. ChatGPT's OpenAI added 18th of June, added pronunciation help for more than 60 languages, conversational World Cup support, I guess important for those fans, a better connected app permission controls and easier pinning, sharing and organisation on web and mobile. Yeah, I have been noticing the interface in the app and online has been improving. I guess from our point of view, pronunciation is a really big change, because I don't know how often have you listened to Siri or any other app that doesn't pronounce even your name properly. Why Kane is very easy. My surname, I always get a pronunciation that I don't like, and it's really annoying. So what happens with Claude? Fable 5 is still banned. I don't know when we're actually going to get access to it. I'm looking forward to getting access back to it. Hopefully they allow it for us here in Australia. It's not like we're part of the old axis of evil or people plotting against the US, so hopefully they give us access. But apparently Anthropic couldn't actually decide who was local and who was foreign in their sign-ups, so they banned it for everyone. So these are the different activities that have been happening in the last week. What that tells us is education is entry into more phase of AI debate and actually taking control of the narrative, which I think is very good. The early phase was lots of excitement and panic around assessments. Some people said AI would transform everything, others said it would destroy learning. And now the debate is becoming a bit more precise, because we've got, 4 years of data now? And experimentation and knowledge into it. Norway is taking, I think, is the right approach in those building those foundational skills. I don't know how Victoria has gone too much the other way. I don't know how that's going to work. It's not really an AI question. It's more of a classroom tech questions. And we see things like Senate hearings coming through in the US, trying to make sense of these. I hope you found this update useful today. Once again, I put a call out for any teachers that want to come on and have a chat. I think I'm going to have to be a bit more proactive and send out some messages on that to different forums and groups. Because like I said, hearing other stories is much better than just hearing my single point of view. Till then, look after yourself, and I'll talk to you on our longer episode on Wednesday.